Oh, good.
We're going chasing.
Hello there, and welcome to...
We're going chasing.
Hello, now, and welcome to...
We're going chasing.
Now, we have a lot on the agenda, lads, so we'll cut the chase and get straight down to the business.
This is the first episode of a new series that we have as well. It's our Cheltenham Antepost selections. And Cillian, I'm just back from training. I'm drowned wet. It's pissing rain outside. Hair is dried off a small bit in the car on the way back, but I need a warm shower. And this better be worth it.
Yeah, it definitely is worth it. I hope.
Well, yeah. You hope, or it is. Well, look, we'll soon find out. But what you've told me is you have a 66-1 shot for a main race at Cheltenham, and you wanted to get this video out. So here I am, duly obliged, still in my training clothes, drowned wet. Let's hear it.
Okay, so my first selection in the new, we'll say the Antepost Cheltenham Series, is going to be Gentleman's Game for the Gold Cup. He's 66-1 with all the big bookmakers, bar Bet365, so Powers, William Hill, Betfair, Coral, Unibet, if you're that badly stuck, are all 66s, and then Bet365 or 40s. One of the Shrewies might have got on there before this came out. But to be honest, he's a horse I really like. I know you like him too, James. He's only had the 10 career starts. He's obviously a small bit difficult to keep right, but if you go through his 10 starts, there's some serious pieces of form there. You go back to even you just take Chase, and now for once, it's just he's only had 2 runs over fences. He beat an Irish national winner by 8 lengths as comfortably as you want in Leopardstown last Christmas. Another decent horse, Largy Debut, who's rated about 130, 135 over fences, who was just touched off in a Munster National in Limerick there recently. He was beaten 20 lengths in behind. Like, that was a serious performance there on his Chase debut. And then he's off about 8 or 9 months. He goes to the PWC Champion Chase in Goran Park, and he finishes second behind Easy Game, getting £5 that day. Like, he's beaten in Violin, who ran well below form, to be honest, but he's beaten him by 7 lengths, who was a 163 chaser and a winner of 2 Grade 1s last year. So I think it was a brilliant run, really, in conditions that wouldn't have suited. Like, he's a very, very big horse. He's huge, but if you look at him, all his best form comes on a sounder surface and in the spring. So to do what he did over a trip way too short at 2.5 miles on ground that wouldn't have suited, like, it was one of his best ever runs, really. I'd say it's only on Racing Post ratings, it's only matched by his 3rd Classical Dream in Punchestown Stairs hurdle, which is ridiculous form too. Like, he's only beaten 3 3/4 lengths that day. He's finished in front of some serious horses like Side Burley, Paisley Park. So he's got some savage backclass over hurdles too.
Yeah, looking back at his form, he has some nice form there, right, over hurdles and that. But it's a huge step up to go from where he has gone to win a Gold Cup. And I'm a fan of the horse too. Would the fact that he's had 10 starts under rules and only 3 wins, would that worry you? Because no, if we're talking about Gold Cup horses, they usually have a much hotter strike rate than that.
They might, but he's very consistent. He generally hits the frame. He's only finished outside of the first 3 twice. That was in a Pertemps qualifier at Leopardstown and at bottomless ground in a Galmai hurdle. So, like, he's generally very, very consistent, and like he's already rated £4 higher over fences than he was over hurdles. He's 154, and like, if you look at the horse, he's huge. He's got plenty of scope. He's definitely a chaser as opposed to a hurdler. And like, I know it's a cliche, but like, Anthony did over hurdles is probably a bonus. Like, he's placed in 3 Grade 1s over hurdles. Like, that's not what he was bought for, I assume. And like, I think he's got a lot to find. He's going to run the Charlie Hall on Saturday.
And how do you think he'll get on that?
Like, he's getting £6 off Brave Man's Game. Like, he's had a run. Brave Man's Game is obviously being teed up for the King George. So like, he could easily give him a serious good race.
Well, he has to really. Like, if you're 66-1 is going to be value, getting £6 off Brave Man's Game, a high Senor, he's £6 off a few somebody else in that race too, an established name. He really, if this is going to, if we're looking at this next week, And if we're thinking, okay, it's a good start for Cillian, he has to have gone extremely close.
Yeah, but if you look at him as well, like his best form has come in the spring on a sounder surface, like in Punchestown behind Galloping Deschamps, in Punchestown behind Classical Dream. Like he ran a really good race in Thurles over hurdles. He absolutely hammered a really good horse of Oliver McKiernan's in unexpected depth that day. Like he's a spring horse, like, and his best form has come in the spring. And whatever he does in the Charlie Hall, he's going to improve for plenty of it when he gets to a nicer surface in the spring.
Yeah, it'll be interesting too. I suppose that'll be the one out you have if it turns out heavy or something like that in the Charlie Hall. I know they're soft at the moment. I don't think they're overly worried about getting it.
No, I
they
think
certainly
it's
aren't
as
worried
soft
about it
as
being
to be.
called off, but
No.
it shouldn't get too much worse than what it is at the moment, from what I can gather. Just going back to the start of the video, one interesting, and I'm glad you brought up where he's 66-1, because I'm sick of seeing lads putting up horses at a price, and you go on and you look, and the price is available with fucking 888 Sport or QuinBet or somebody.
Yeah.
like who's got these accounts?
Well, if you look at who's priced ahead of him in the Gold Cup market, even by just, we'll say, Powers now, for example, or Betfair, like you've Noble Yates, Corrick Rambler, like we spoke about these on our previous podcast there. Like Noble Yates has had his chance. Corrick Rambler looks to be too slow. Like they're half the price this lad is, and no one knows his ceiling. Like there's a case to be made he mightn't be good enough at all, but
yeah,
like,
well,
at least we know Corrick Rambler and Noble Yates aren't good enough.
Yeah, no, just a couple of points to sort of add to what you're saying. We had Rob Atchison on this year before the season and before last season. Before last season, he put up Gentleman's Game as his best bet for the Cheltenham Festival for the RSA at 33-1. The horse obviously had his issues and didn't make it there. This year he was on again. He spoke quite well about the horse, but it was interesting, secondly, to see Mouse at Punchestown before their last meeting there. I forget what meeting it was, but they did a 3-minute interview with Mouse Morris. You'll find it on Punchestown LinkedIn page. In fact, we might add it onto the bottom of this video. We'll see if we can do that. But he was asked if he could train any horse in training, who would it be? And he gave a lovely little smile like Mouse does, and he says, I have him at home. Gentleman's Game. So there's a huge vote of confidence as well for him. And I suppose, Cillian, the key to this, and this is why you're rushing me to do this now while I'm drowned wet, is that you feel that probably his price can shorten significantly with a big run at the weekend. If he wins at the weekend, where is he? Is he 20-1?
He's a lot shorter than 20-1, I'd say, if he wins. It depends how he wins, but like he's to win first or he's to run well first.
He goes close even,
But as I said, like I wouldn't, once he's competitive in the Charlie Hall, I think he's going to improve to be back on better ground in March. So I think he's a fair price at 66-1 when you look at what's ahead of him in the betting, and there's just some of them there. There's no way they can win the race. Like maybe he can't either, but he's at least we don't know he can't, and we know a lot of them can't already. Like Manel Indo, I love the horse. He's here behind me. He's 50-1. He can't win the Gold Cup next year. It's not possible.
Yeah, his best days are behind him. While he still retains some ability, his best days are behind him. Look, Cillian, I think you've made a fair case for him there. And the key to that price is getting on in the next few days. I'm sure you have your few pound down before this goes out. But the very best of luck with it. That's the first of this series. It'll be ad hoc. We won't be doing it every week or anything like that. It'll be whenever one of us fancies something and we see a bit of value in the market, it'll be then that we'll put a video like this out. So it's a case of subscribing there, keep an eye on the page, and let us know in the comments what you think ahead of the Charlie Hall this weekend as well. So look, from our first Cheltenham Antepost series, that's everything for myself and Cillian. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
What horse would I like to have in training? I haven't. Gentleman's Game.